And let's talk about safeguards in place to ensure that your vote is protected. Joined now in studio by the Secretary of State, Steve Hobbs, with insight into the security of our election. Secretary Hobbs, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's great to have you. What are the biggest threats that you are seeing to election security this cycle?
Yeah, you know, stuff that the public doesn't see, cyber threats, attacked a couple of counties in this last year. You might recall the fentanyl that was mailed to Election Center. In fact, here in King County, it was mailed to. So we see all these things happening. And then, of course, with AI technology and deep fakes, you know, we saw something in New Hampshire where it sounded like Biden in a robocall. And in Utah, there was a deep fake there. So I expect things to happen in this election and the general election.
Yeah, and we'll get a little deeper into that. What is the state doing, and what can the state do to make sure that our elections are secure and that every vote is secure?
All right. So what we've been doing is actually putting the word out about elections. You know, it's like people consider it boring, but it's not boring anymore because people are, you know, upset about it. So we got to remind people that we check every signature, that there's auditing processes that go on. We do checks before and after the election. Databases talk to one another so that if someone were to vote in the same election, we would know about it. If someone registers in another state, we know about it. And the whole myth about dead people voting, it's very super rare. It happens. Usually it's a spouse voting for a loved one in the grieving process, but we find these things.
Okay, so let's talk about these threats. Where are they coming from? Are they homegrown? Are they coming from overseas?
It's a combination of both. So we have our own homegrown folks that are generating this, like the letter that was sent to with the white powder. Other instances that we're going to see is probably from malign actors like Russia. There was a warning from the Director of National Intelligence 4 weeks ago about Russian interference in this election. And it's not just the presidential elections, it goes all the way down to local elections.
And so from what you can see, what's in it for Russia, for example, to want to meddle in our elections? What's the end game there?
Well, the end game is to disrupt our country, to have Americans tear each other apart so we're focused inward instead of outward so that Russia can achieve their national security goals.
Okay, so you recently took aim at Elon Musk's social media platform X, accusing it of spreading misinformation. What did you see online, and why was that concerning to you?
Well, first of all, he had his AI chatbot, which is called Grok, put out disinformation about deadlines for elections here in Washington state and 4 other states. And that's simply not true. And so what we would like Elon to do with X is just try to fix that problem. And also he shared a deep fake of Vice President Harris as well. And he was violating his own policy. So, you know, it would be nice if he would stick to the policies that they put out.
Yeah, battling misinformation, especially on social media, is such a huge task. So how do our leaders even begin to tackle that?
You know, what we do is we remind people that go straight to the source. Contact your election officials. They'll talk to you on the phone. Contact the Secretary of State's office. And if you see something on social media, you know, you need to verify who that person is. Is that a trusted person? And check your local news. Check Fox 13. Is it on there? If it isn't, it's probably not happening. And so people just need to pause before they immediately share something.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because things can go viral so fast. Is it unbeatable to get ahead of the technology, to get ahead of these bad actors in this age of, you know, technological advances we're living in?
It's very hard. You know, we partner with Homeland Security, and, you know, they have a rough time of it. And so really it's about citizens being aware of what they're seeing on social media and taking the time to verify it.
Okay, when we talk about election security and we talk about potential threats, what are we seeing this cycle as opposed to maybe what we saw 4 years ago as we head into the primary election today?
Well, you know, this year, obviously, the white powder incident that happened, more cyber attacks. I've seen more this year than I've had in previous years. And then with the warning from the Director of National Intelligence on Russian interference, I assume that's probably going to happen a little later on. But one thing we got to do is we just got to spread the news about the process of elections. Because, you know, I believe that January 6th wouldn't have happened if people would have known all the security that's in place. We didn't talk about it. and we got to talk about it now.
Right, and so I'm glad to have you here, just so we can talk about it. And as we head towards November, obviously it's going to be a different set of threats and all sorts of information and misinformation that's being disseminated out there. What do you and other leaders talk about when you talk about what could be down the road here as we approach the November election?
So we've taken a completely different approach, not just me, but other secretaries of state and local election officials. You know, we've been really good about telling people, hey, don't forget to vote. Don't forget to put your ballot in the drop box or mailbox, or if you're poll state, go to your polling site. What we haven't done is talk about the process of elections. So now we've shifted and done more of that, which is why I'm talking about the boring process of elections that we can't take for granted anymore.
I don't think it's boring at all. It's top of mind for so many people. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs stopping by this morning. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.